The Bills announced yesterday that Hamlin showed, quote, signs of improvement. His oxygen levels have improved since he was brought to the hospital on Monday night. They added that he will remain in intensive care as the health team continues to monitor his condition. Now, in just the last few minutes, Adam Schefter tweeted the following. Damar Hamlin's father, Mario Hamlin, addressed the entire Bills team on a Zoom call to personally update everyone in attendance on his son. Mario Hamlin informed the Bills that Damar was making progress, and in the words of one source, quote, the team needed it. You see that Zoom call took place Wednesday. That's yesterday. Here we are on Thursday. Again, Diana Rossini is there, and we'll have all of the news from the Bills camp as we go. But obviously, the big question here today is how this football team that just witnessed what it witnessed on that field with their teammate, their brother, as I know you football players so frequently will say, how do they turn the page? Well, that's completely the wrong way to put it. How do they prepare to play a football game that matters a lot this coming week?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely difficult, but being a football player, there are moments where actually being back on the field is like therapeutic. It's therapy. You're with your brothers, your teammates, and you're back on the field doing what you love to do that you've been doing your whole life. So it is not an easy thing. It's one of the more difficult things to move forward with the season when you're trying to go and get into the playoffs and win that first seed and do all these things that the Buffalo Bills have to do. But as a football player, you are conditioned to get back on the field, to do what you love. And really, when you're on the field and you're running around, it is almost therapeutic.
You know, yesterday we talked about compartmentalizing. And
yeah.
As Dominique Foxworth said, the hard part about this thing is that it took place in the compartment.
Right.
Usually the tragedy, the difficulties are away from the field and away from the team. And so you come together. This took place on the playing field. And so it is obviously a different circumstance. Look, we're dealing in things here that we've never dealt in the NFL or in any sport really that we can think of. So imagine what that is like now for those players today.
Very tough. I've opened the question, like, I don't know how those guys will be able to play against New England, to be honest with you. Because just like you said, it's usually when you talk about tragedy within the family, it's usually off the field.
Yeah.
You know, but this happened, this unfortunate incident happened on the field of play. And psychologically, it's a barrier that these guys are going to have to get over. But I think the one thing that these players are going to probably rally around is the fact that, even as, Damar Hamlin is fighting for his life, in the hospital, he would also want these guys to continue the march to what they were ultimately playing for, which is a championship. Like that to me is the ultimate response into, for what's been going on is continuing the journey that all of them were on starting in training camp.
Yeah.
And so I think to me, just echoing something that, Nick was talking about, like the therapeutic part is continue that march towards hopefully a Super Bowl.
So, Dan, I know that you have been in all the conversations that you've been having. Some of them have been with the league and the conference calls and all of that. And you were telling us in the meeting this morning that the scheduling even of the game this Sunday against New England is not a certainty at this moment.
There's a conference call yesterday with league officials, including Troy Vincent, who said that he's been in contact with Sean McDermott and the Buffalo Bills, and that all of the conversation has been about how are you doing, how is Damar doing, et cetera. In terms of the question of making up the Bills-Bengals game, that was a big topic on the conference call, and they're undecided on that. There could be news at some point soon, but we'll see. But it was also brought up, like, are you in contact with the Bills in terms of how they feel about playing this week against the Patriots?
Yeah.
And what Troy Vincent said was that they would let the Bills' feelings on this guide them, which obviously leaves open the possibility that they may have to make an adjustment there. Now, I'll say this. I reached out to some people I know with the Bills yesterday, just sort of how are you holding up? And most of the responses included, well, it was good to get back out on the practice field with the guys, right? Even though they did a walkthrough yesterday, just a little feeling of normalcy. Because the thing you have to understand, not only is it an event they witnessed that would shake anyone up, like the Bengals are shaking up, anybody that saw it is, they're also worried about their guy. And that's why I think this Adam Schefter tweet from this morning is part of what needs to be happening here. If they can be reassured that things are going to be okay with Damar Hamlin, and I'm not sure that they can at this point or will be before Sunday, that would make, I think, a big difference in their minds and in their ability to go out and compete. If they feel like, all right, well, he's making progress, he's doing well, he's going to be okay, I think that would matter a lot. So the absence of news on him, I think, has been a big impediment to a lot of the business that people have tried to get back to this week, and for understandable reasons.
There's also an element, I would imagine, psychologically, of hearing from the family if the family's encouragement is go out and play, go out and do what you guys do. Again, obviously I wasn't a part of the Zoom. I don't know specifically what was said, but if you see Shefty's tweet where it says it was needed, one figures that maybe that was part of the conversation. We will see. Again, Diana is there. We will have the very latest from there as there is news. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.